welcome to the latest episode of the ReWine, where we rewind the latest in entertainment and pop culture news. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
How are you doing, Tammy? How's life in the Jersey Shore?
First of all, not from Jersey Shore. I'm closer to the city. We don't claim that South, but but it's fine. We where I live, we feel very passionate about the fact we don't claim that part of Jersey. But
I see that. You made it seem like I was asking you about the Trailer Park Cousins or something.
oh God, but no. Jersey has its good and bad. We got the heat wave just like we do in Texas. So it is hot. It is definitely hot. I am not a summer person. Like, I think next time I come back here, it's gonna have to be fall or winter. Like, I can't do this summer heat thing.
So what you're saying is you miss Texas. You miss home. You're now ready to admit that Houston has become home.
No, 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 no. I miss my AC apartment.
Okay. We don't get there. All right, so there's a lot to get to this episode. First, I just want to say, be careful. Are you still masking?
Of course.
Yeah, be careful because Rona has another mutated offspring. This one's called BA5. I call this one Badass Number Five. And it's still around, and it's even more contagious than the previous mutations. And the numbers are picking up, even though they're keeping it quiet. You would think that it's over with because people have been it's been crickets about it, but until POTUS caught the Rona. So yeah, and this one doesn't care about your antibodies and if you've been vaccinated or if you've had the Rona before. So just be careful and continue to mask up. That's what I will say about that. Um, so what else is in it? Oh, this is a good one. Um, it's not a good one, but it's something we've talked about that continues to need to be talked about and discussed. Our rights as women, they're still under attack. And Busy Phillips was arrested outside of the SCOTUS building wearing a shirt. I loved what her shirt said, that she will aid and abet abortion. Um, on the surface, I don't know if that's a shirt that you should just be proud of, but given the moment, given where we are in history, I thought that was a pretty kick-ass shirt. So um, she was arrested. Also, Reps AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Omar Ilan, and other House Democrats were also arrested protesting women's rights. Um, and have you heard about the horror stories that are now starting to come to light because of all these stupid, asinine, antiquated rules?
Mm-hmm.
So you have women being forced to through with ectopic pregnancies, which are never viable from the beginning. You have women who are practically bleeding out because of miscarriages that they can't abort. You've had women who are being forced to give labor birth or go through labor with non-viable fetuses. So it's horrible. Um, and you have House Republicans who have voted against contraception. And birth. How can you vote against birth control and contraception?
It's a form of abortion.
It is.
Maybe that's how they think of it.
I don't know. And you have Walgreens customers who are refusing to sell condoms and refill birth control prescriptions. And then you have Kimberly Elise, and I was kind of shocked about that. Uh, I don't know. Are you a Kimberly Elise fan?
She can act.
She can. But did her stance surprise you? Her
It
anti-abortion
it
stance?
did, but I think it's more on I am a woman, and so I have a certain viewpoint. So whenever I hear a woman who is on the opposite end of what I feel is how we all should stand, I'm always surprised. when it's a woman who thinks that way. But I'm even more surprised when it's a woman of color, because we're the ones more affected by the consequences of these laws than any other race.
That is true. And it's hard. I agree with you. And my whole thing is, when people say pro-choice, I'm like, look, it's about having the right to make the choice that is best for you in your circumstances. That's what it's about to me. Um, Decide, obviously, Alexa agrees. Um, Decide what you will, but make that choice. Every woman should be able to make the choice for herself, whether you decide to terminate the pregnancy, whether you decide to keep the pregnancy. um, it should be up to you. And so that's what it boils down to. I was talking to someone the other day, and to me, the whole birth control thing is, will you please get out, stop trying to regulate my vagina and my uterus? Leave that to me. Um, so I agree with you. I think that every woman should have the right to choose for themselves, and that's what it comes down to. Um, I guess as I was reading more about it, her someone said something that was funny. They were like, "Well, didn't she start for Colored Girls?" And that whole premise of that was about abortion, and I was just like, "Wow." So,
Maybe she
um,
changed her viewpoint after that.
maybe, but and so like it comes down to, we're all entitled to our opinions, but you've got to respect the other side. It's like you should not force women to carry through with a pregnancy that they don't want, that they may not be prepared for, that especially in circumstances where it's life or death. Idaho has gone as far as to say that they won't even allow abortions or terminations in um, in the case of it saving the mother's life. So this is going to probably get worse before it gets better. Um, we'll see how it does in like I said, the House has passed a bill to protect women's right to choose, to codify into law. It will probably stall in the Senate, because McConnell has already said that if he gets back control of the Senate, um, then he is going to try to codify an anti-abortion bill nationwide. So we'll see. Also, the House passed a bill to protect marriage equality. It looks like it will probably pass the Senate. They may get the 10 votes, Republican votes that they need to pass that. And the surprising thing about that to me is that Republicans like to act like that they don't have a gay constituency. Like they just totally ignore that part of their constituency. So we'll see. Uh, and I saw that the Heartstopper cast was at London. They were at the London Pride, and I love the headline. It says that they melted hearts, and it kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier. It's like, yeah, that I'm sure that's not all that melted in the Pride Parade during this international global heat wave.
Yeah.
Um, did you see that the soldiers outside of Buckingham Palace, they had to break their stoic stance to take water breaks? Like that's how hot it was.
Yeah, because they have the huge hats on their head. So I'm just like, and the whole uniform is like, I feel so bad for like them and like soldiers and stuff who have to be outside with all that on them, because that's gotta be crazy. Because I be sweating with like a simple t-shirt and some shorts. Like, so I can just imagine how they feel in the heat with all that they have every day.
Like, yeah, they're so hot. They're talking about the pavement is cracking around the world, especially in Europe where they don't really have air. And a lot of their older buildings, the newer ones have AC, but here Europe has all that historical architecture in those older buildings, and they've never really had a need for it. Like it's normally what, 60, 70, maybe 80, maybe 90, especially in places like London. This is like unheard of. I remember watching Wimbledon a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, oh, it's the hottest day of the year. And then I was like, okay, a couple of weeks later the weather's like, yeah, hold my beer, we're going to get up to 104. And I'm like, wow. So I went to a baseball game the other day, And Minute Maid, they don't open the roof a lot because it's hot. It's normally hot here. We have that die hard humidity, but our grid is shit. So they've been ERCOT or whoever has been issuing uh those warnings not to run your AC up high or whatever. So I was like, okay, Minute Maid, they obviously listened to that. It was like 40,000. It was a doubleheader. So we went to the early game. It was like 45,000 people in there. It was so hot. The coolest places in that place were the concession stand. So I was like, Joe, I need to just go watch the baseball game in the concession stand. Like, it was hot. And I personally think they did it because the Yankees were in town. Like, they didn't want to turn on the AC. Because normally when I go, I have to take a little hoodie or a light jacket to wear because I'm still cold or, cool. But I had my little hot, I was sweating. I was sweating like a son of a bitch. Like, and my mom being an Astros fan, she was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's not hot in here." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Until the dude next to her said, "Yeah, it's hot in here." And I'm like, "Uh-huh. You were just trying to say that because I'm a Yankees fan." The Yankees lost, by the way. So, that's why I think they did that. Anyway, moving on to news. Something that we talked about before. The Ricky Martin case, like last time we talked about it, it was just that the restraining order had been issued for sexual harassment and we were like stalking. So it came out that it was his nephew and he had been allegedly involved in a relationship, a 7-month relationship with his nephew. And it was all this stuff about incest. And then just yesterday, the charges were dropped. The case has been dismissed. And they're saying that his nephew is apparently or allegedly, he had like mental health issues. Like it was just all so weird. Like I didn't want to believe it, but in this day and age, it's like, I don't know. Like I'm glad can you even say it's been cleared up?
I think so. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. Like when the story first came out, I'll be honest, I'm one of those people, and not to say I'm not a Ricky Martin fan, I'm really not. But like when it came out, my first thought was when I heard that it was his nephew, I was just like, oh my God, like what is he going through? Like I thought he wasn't mentally stable. Like when I heard it was his nephew and this whole story and all of this came out, but when I heard it was his nephew, my automatic thought was he's not mentally stable. So when it came out that they finally dropped the case, I was just like, okay. I don't know. Like I just didn't get a feeling that it was true. And granted, nobody will never truly know because we're never in their lives. But I just didn't get the feeling like it was true. I felt like there was more to the story than what was being put out there to sensationalize the fact that because it's Ricky Martin, this came out and everything like that. Like I just felt like there was more to the backstory than what was being presented in the news.
Yeah, I didn't want to, like, even before we knew it was his nephew, I didn't want to believe it. Like, I'm not the biggest Ricky Martin fan either, but, as a GH fan, I remember old school when he was on GH, and, we all lived La Vida Loca. We cannot say we did not, you know. Um, so, but gradually have I followed his career as far as being the biggest a big fan of his? No. But I do like him. I know that he's a big advocate for his community, the LGBT community. I know he came out at a time, he was one of those artists who came out at a time when it was unpopular. They said it could have cost him his career. So I do have respect for that. So I didn't want it to be true from the beginning because it's just one of those things where it's like, ugh. But you know, but when I found out it was his nephew, and you saw all the memes and stuff on the internet, it was one of those where I just kind of turned away because again, even more than the initial charges or accusations, it was like that just had a whole nother layer of ick that I was like, no, you know, what was it? I didn't go as far as to say his nephew had mental. I didn't even give it that much thought. I was just like, I didn't even want to think about it. I was like, I pray that this is not true, just because of the whole other level of ick factor. But yeah, so now it's like, what was he going through? What, like, do you hate your uncle? Did he tell you no to something you wanted? Like, why would you even do this? Why would you put this out there? You know, and it was his brother. Even after the accusations that came out, it was Ricky Martin's brother who revealed the identity of the accuser, who said that it was his son, his nephew, who had done this, and they still didn't give any more details to it. So it is just one of those things. So I'm glad that it is seemingly not true, for a whole host of reasons. And I hope that, if his nephew is indeed mentally ill, which, if you're making accusations like this that aren't true, you either have to be just hell bent on revenge for something or mentally unstable. So I hope that he gets the help that he needs. Um, you know, Speaking back of the days of living La Vida Loco, which was what, like a hit about 20 years ago?
More than 20, but yeah.
More than 20? It was what, the 90s?
Yeah.
Living La Vida Loca was that long ago?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, around that time when we were living La Vida Loca, I guess, um, one of the original couple goals, uh, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, known as Bennifer, or Bennifer 1.0, they finally tied the knot, after 20 years after their original engagement. So I think we talked about it originally when they got engaged. I was a huge Jennifer fan, and it it warms the cackles of my romantic heart. I am a romantic at heart and believe in true love and soulmates. I don't believe we always find them, but I believe that they do exist. That's the romantic in me. So from this aspect, I'm really happy for them, and I hope it works out for them both. I think even all this time later, they're still a cute couple. So, oh yeah, it was 1999 that it was released. So, but
Ah, see, right at the end.
yeah, it was right on that cusp of Y2K. Um, so, shout out. I'm happy for Jennifer. What about you? You have any big feelings
I hope
about it?
it works out. No, I hope it works out. Waiting 20 years for each other, um, going through your different relationships. It's kind of sad because people are just focusing on the fact that this is her fifth marriage, I think it is, um, that she's had. And then, she had that huge public relationship with A-Rod. But I think it says something that 20 years later, yes, this is her fifth marriage, but she's going back to the person that I think she first really loved. Like, that's when you saw a different side of J Lo. That was after the whole her dating P Diddy and everything like that. So I wish them all the best. I really do hope that this is the end of the road of her looking for the person she wants to spend the rest of her life with, um, because it's the ultimate story. On 20 years later, y'all come together again. It's the ultimate story. So hopefully it works out and hopefully their families get along.
Yeah. From my understanding, it seems like they do get along, even the exes. I know Jennifer Garner went through a lot with Ben Affleck. His issues, and I love Jennifer Garner, and um, I hate that the media keeps trying to pit them against each other or make it seem like she's the jilted lover in all of this. Like he left one Jennifer for another, and that's not the way it worked out at all. She's moved on, he's moved on. She's low key dating a guy who they say is by all standards a great guy. So they say the kids get along.
No, the
So
scandal was that he cheated on her with the nanny, but yeah.
yeah, it he didn't leave one Jennifer for another. And of course he does have his addiction issues and all of that kind of stuff. And I know Jennifer Gardner was there for a lot of that, through their marriage, because they were married for a long time. So You know, I do wish them all of the best in that, as well. And like I said, I agree with you. You know, it kind of, as a fan of old Hollywood, um, someone that she reminds me of, Jennifer Lopez kind of reminds me of Elizabeth Taylor. She was married 8 times, but three of those times was to the love of her life, Richard Burton. You know, so it just kind of reminds me of that. Or another classic romance, and they never officially got married because but Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. You know, so it kind of gives me that old school Hollywood vibe, along the ways. Something that is not couples goals. Um, and when I first read the headline to this story, I was like, "Girl, why? Why? You know where I'm going with this, right?" Anti-couples
Yes.
goals. Hashtag what the fuck? Because I think when I put this in the wind down, the daily wind down, I think initially before I got the full story, because the first few headlines had made it seem like they were still together. And I'm talking about
Oh.
Chloe and Tristan having baby number two. So the first couple of headlines when it first broke was they're having baby number two, or they're having a baby, and I'm like, please tell me she is not that much of a masochist. She's not that much of a glutton for punishment. Girl, why? Was my first reaction. But apparently they are having another baby. This one is through a surrogate. Chloe has had some
They have
issues
the baby.
conceiving. But so the deal was that, you know, we can't say she had found out he cheated, because he's been cheating. He's been cheating. She's known he cheated during her first pregnancy, which should have been enough, but she kept going back. So this last time when baby number whoever mama went public in December, they had already decided to have this baby. The child had already been conceived via surrogacy, but they broke up officially in January of this year, and so now they're having a little boy. um, and Tristan is the daddy, but apparently they're not together. So when I was talking to a friend, what's the over under of them getting back together? Do you think she's done? Like, is she done being humiliated, or
So I have a different take on this whole situation.
okay?
And I was talking to one of my friends about it, and she asked my opinion because I'm a very opinionated person when it comes to entertainment news. And my thought was, and something that I don't think people are really talking about is, I think part of the reason why she had another kid with him is because she wanted to have another kid, and she wants her kids to have the same parents.
I can
She wants to
understand that.
she wants them to be full siblings. So knowing who he is, knowing what a horrible crap person he is, as a boyfriend, as a father, because I hear he ain't that great at that either. Um, I honestly think the reason why she made this decision to have another kid with him, even as they were no longer together, is because she wants her kids to be full siblings, and she wants them to have the same parents. Whether he's going to be involved or not, whether they're together or not. That was my first thought. And it's so crazy because it's like such a minority thought. Like, it's like nobody really has brought that into the public conversation on that could be why people are focusing on the fact of saying, like, she's an idiot. Like, why would you have a kid with this dude again? You know how he is. But I can understand the underlining reason of it.
Well, see, oh, go ahead.
It No, I was gonna say, like, I can agree with that reasoning because at the end of the day, she can take care of her kids on her own. So yeah, to be like, well, he's a crap dad. He's a crap dad to all his kids. But when you have a mindset of what you want for your kids, and you know you can take care of your kids, and you are fine, and you've wrapped your mind around the fact that you're going to be raising your kids on your own, I don't see a problem with you wanting your kids to have the same parents and asking him, like, hey, I want to have another kid. I can't have one on my own. I want a surrogate, but I want them to be a sibling to True, which is their daughter. And him being like, okay, fine. Like, I'm not really involved in the first one anyway. Like, because he's not involved in any of his kids' lives, really. Like, he's a crap father. Like, he even went so far as to, like, say, like, he's not even claiming the son that he had with that fitness instructor in December, like, at all. Doesn't support them at all. Um, so yeah, so that was like I guess, devil's advocate viewpoint on this whole situation.
Well, I could agree with that because she has said that before, like during one of their mini breakups. I think when True was younger, and they were off, she had said that if she were to have another child, it would probably be with him, and she would use a surrogate, because she did want them to be full siblings. She did want them to have. So I understand that, and if that is how this had popped off, great. But they were actually together when, because even after the times they had said they had broken up and she was playing coy about were they together, were they on, were they off, they were actually on. They only broke up, and the reason why he didn't want to claim, and he didn't lay claim, and he tried to deny the fitness instructor, is because they were together and he didn't want it getting out that he not only had been cheating again, that he was still cheating, but that he had fathered another child, especially knowing how much she wanted to have another baby. So once it came out that A, he had been cheating again, and B, which I don't think she ever not knew that he was cheating because you had to. And he's really that epitome of once a cheater, always a cheater. But um, so, but once it came out that that okay, he'd been cheating, and B, this child was actually his, that's when they officially broke up. But by that time, because I think the child was conceived in November, so by that time they had officially broken up in January of this year. So they were together, and she was giving it the upteenth of that good old college try. But damn, so that's why I was like, what's the over under on them? Like, is she done with him? I agree. She can take care of the kids by herself. She doesn't necessarily need him. It's just, girl, go, like, go, go find somebody
It's
who.
not easy. It's
I
not
know,
easy.
I know, because
It's not.
we've all been there. We've all
Yeah.
had that.
And I think people forget that because like people always saying like that wouldn't be me. You don't know. Like I can honestly say I can't say that wouldn't be me. Now, granted, I'm beating his ass in private. And I think my breaking point would be you having another kid outside. But you got to look at other people. Like other women have worked to make sure their relationship survived outside babies. Like Gabrielle Union is a perfect example. Ludacris' wife is another example. He had a baby outside of them. Like, so you
But
look at that and you just like,
but to me, it's not. This isn't the first outside baby. But to me, this is. It isn't just a matter of you having a break baby or an outside baby or something. It is the constant disrespect, and I get it. Like I said, we've all been there. And honestly, for
she
me,
allows herself to be disrespected.
exactly. Honestly, people treat you the way you allow yourself to be treated. And for me, it happened a long time ago. But the breaking point was the outside baby, and it was just like, okay, so I can say at this point, at this stage of my life, it wouldn't be me again. Like never again. That relationship to me, and I've never been married, and maybe that's why. But just the memories of that relationship, the PTSD from that relationship, I can say is it felt like once it was over, it felt like I had been through a divorce and I had never been married. So I was like, I learned the lessons from that. Maybe a little bit too well. Probably made me a little bit too gun shy when it comes to certain things. But no, I take the red flags seriously. So I can just say she can do better, and she
Can she?
deserves better. I think. I
Can she
think.
do better? No, I
I
don't. I
think.
don't believe it.
I think she probably could if she
Name
allowed
name
herself.
somebody who
There,
she's done better.
she has horrible taste in men because Lamar wasn't much
But
better. But
but that's what I'm saying. She can't. French Montana wasn't that great either. Like she can't do better. Like this is the dudes that she falls for. So
well,
you
she
because
needs
you
to take some time by herself and think about how to do better. Because at this point, you can't necessarily say it's them. It's her. Someone told me something at one point. If everybody you pick, even all these different dudes from different backgrounds, if they all treat you the same, then the common denominator in that with different dudes is you. So what are you allowing? So that could be a whole other relationship show. Speaking of hot messes or relationships, let's go here first. I love this story. Ladies, Chris Evans is on the hunt for his life partner. You better pray that Lizzo stays booed up because you know Lizzo loves her from Chris Evans. She be sliding in those
Yvette,
DMs.
Yvette Nicole Brown. Okay, Lizzo better
Oh,
step
so
off. Lizzo better
Yvette,
step off.
Yvette Nicole Brown and Lizzo, who we gonna see in the fight for Chris Evans's heart? So
Yvette too
you
classy to
know.
fight. She just gonna be like, girl, if you don't want to be broken down, I'm gonna need you to step away from my man. Okay.
But also, I say that to say that yes, Chris Evans is out there and apparently on the prowl, on the lookout. Hey, um, but he also had to reiterate recently after it was announced that there will be another Captain America movie. That they are not just relegating um, Captain America uh, to the Marvel series or to Disney Plus or the Marvel series, that he is actually getting another movie. And Sam Wilson is officially, for those of you who did not get the memo, Sam Wilson is Captain America. Um, you know, so I was just like, oh, I just felt like, really, did he really have to come out and say that? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
mm,
Because even I was kind of like, is he gonna come back at some point?
no, but it kind of goes to, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I realize the baton had been passed, and I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna need, and it was a great article, and I don't know if you read it. I'm just gonna need Marvel to tell better stories. I think in some instances they do have a storytelling problem, and I think we've talked about it a little bit, hinted at it as we've done some of our more recent reviews. Um, I think that they've probably gotten away from the storytelling a little bit. What about you?
When did they actually tell stories?
I could say, like, to me, up until this point,
Name a movie that was a story,
I love the
and
story of,
not just action, like
I
not
lo-
literally just special effects and the action scenes overtook the story. Like name a movie where there was a true focus on the story.
I love the story of the Black Panther. Black Panther had a great story. The Captain America series was great storytelling. Even the storytelling in Spider-Man, the way it continues from movie to movie has been great. So I think they've told great stories in that. Iron Man, the first one especially, told a great story. So I think it's possible. I get what they are doing. I get the overall you have action, but you need to find a better way to make it more than just action and special effects.
I'm going to disagree, but I think action has always been the main point. Like that's the blockbuster concept. Blockbusters are not about the story. Blockbusters about action, 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 and action always takes over the main story. So you're going to remember the action, and you're going to focus on the action more than you're going to focus on any type of story that was being told. Because that's what people that's I guess that's what people talk about. Like nobody goes to the theater to see a Marvel movie for the story. You ain't going to the movie theater for that. You're going for the action. And so Marvel has made billions of dollars off of that concept, and I don't see them turning their back on that concept because it works for them. And I'm not telling them to go and start telling some real stories. I go to watch other movies for that. Like I don't go to watch Marvel movies for the story. I go for the action and the really good looking cast. Like that's what I go for Marvel from. And so like at the end of the day, why do we need actual stories? Like read the comics if you want like the background, if you want real storytelling. Like read the comics. But
Okay,
if you're gonna go to the movies, watch the movie for the action, special effects, and all that other stuff.
we'll see. And I think, and I guess that's where we disagree. As someone who loves movies and wants to make movies, I think that you can always, any type of movie, the heart of any movie is the story. The first thing you do when you create a movie is you create a storyboard, not an action board. And I get, so, and I'm not saying make it less action and more heavy on the story. I'm just saying include better stories in the movies that you're already making. Think about how much better Doctor Strange would be if it had a better story.
But Doctor
The,
Strange had a story.
I
There was,
said a better story.
yeah, but we're
It
just
wasn't
talking
the
about
action.
them
I didn't have a
having.
problem with the action in Doctor Strange.
It was trash too.
You were like, I heard you. It was trash too.
My bad. I thought I
You
really
know.
whispered that.
Okay. Think about. Let's go back to one of the movies that we were just talking about that we hated. Mulan needed a better story. The action was okay. I love the action. I think that was the one thing that we agreed on. But it had a horrible story. So
But it
I
had a
think
story.
it did.
Like,
But and I'm not saying Marvel doesn't have story. I say they need to tell better stories.
but then the story, I feel the reason why they don't tell better story, like every I'm not saying Marvel films have a story. Like there has to have a background story on the reason why they get to the point where the action comes about and why they're fighting against evil. Like who's the villain? Like we always want to know who is the villain of the next Marvel movie. So of course you have to have a story, but at the
So
end of the
tell better
day,
ones.
the action is the main draw to the movie theaters for those movies. It is the action. Like we want it. We're going to focus on the story because the story sets up to where we get to the point where like, yo, oh my God, did you see when they did that? That was crazy. Like that's the point that we're getting to. Like every Marvel movie has a story, but I just don't feel, and maybe it's my cynic, but off of like the viewpoints of like people that like I go to the movies with, they ain't really looking for story when they go into a Marvel movie. Like they know the story is necessary, but they're more about the action. And as long as the action keeps coming, you can't take away, you can't make it less actiony just to kind of like really sell a story because that's not why people are going to the theater. Like honestly, if you look at overall the fans, they're not going to the theater for a Marvel story. You need a background story, but they're not going there for the story. They're going there for the action and the special effects and the really good looking people. I'm going to continue to say that because if you had ugly actors who were playing these roles, people wouldn't be like hanging out in the theaters trying to see every single blockbuster movie from Marvel. But so I think like every movie had a story. It's just we're not going to the theater for the story. We're going to the theater for, but true comic fans or true fans of Marvel, because I think I'm a movie fan of Marvel, because everybody knows DC's my people. I'm a movie fan of Marvel. I'm going for that concept. True fans of Marvel, they want you to add more of the comic story to it, and everybody's like, "Nah, I'm good." That's how they make billions of dollars.
Well, okay. So versus, and I guess I don't want to get too far track because we do have more news to cover. But I feel it's having to do another Marvel and DC.
Oh no, not till DC comes out with better stuff.
Yeah, or we may just have to do a comic episode or something because I feel it. I have questions. So maybe the next time we talk about something, maybe Hulk, Miss Marvel, or She Hulk, we can incorporate this into the conversation. So, um, okay, hot mess, funny girl, Lea Michelle, at it again. Um, I don't even know. Once you read the full story, I don't even know that I can blame her. I don't know. It's just let me ask you this: why does drama always follow her? Is that a
because
better
she's
way
a
to?
because she's a bitch.
So, do you think she brings it on herself?
No, I just think that she has some really negative qualities that have come back to bite her in the ass a lot. And there's like everybody has like attitude issues. And I think that her attitude issues, she instead of her just having an attitude in general, her attitude was portrayed in how she treated other people that she felt was less than her. And as she continues to try, like every time she tries to grow her stardom, her past behavior comes back to bite her in the ass. And I think that's what continuously happens.
Okay. Yeah, like she's been cast in Funny Girl. They're recasting to play Funny Girl. A lot of people were kind of dismayed because I thought from the beginning she probably would have been a better choice than Beanie Featherstein. Not taking away from Beanie Featherstein. And the show initially, when it aired on Broadway, it was a hit, but it was getting negative reviews and it was losing audience and money. And a lot of it was because they were saying that, Beanie Featherstein, she didn't have the strongest voice. The acting part, she was great at. They were saying it was the vocal part that wasn't the best. Um, so it had been announced that Lea Michelle was finally going to get her dream job, and that was to play Funny Girl on Broadway. That when Beanie Featherstein's time was up at the end of September, she was going to be recast, which is normal. On long running Broadway shows, they recast. Hamilton is still on Broadway, but it's not the original cast. So we know that that's not the controversy. So Lea Michelle is announced as the person who's being recast. It's been like she's been quiet for the last 2 years since she had her moment, and it came out that she was a bitch to everybody except for Corey Monteith on the Glee set, and then she weaponized the grief. Um, she weaponized her grief against everybody else on Glee
Yes,
after he
she
passed
did.
away, and that she had some otherwise racist and or toxic behavior, especially to other cast members. Even that she sidelined Amber Riley. A lot of people said that on the show.
Because
Um,
she's a better singer than her.
yeah, that that she is, even when the show was going on, everyone was like, "Hey, why are they sidelining Mercedes and all this other shit?" So Naya Rivera, may she rest, had always talked about her toxic behavior and all this other stuff. So um, I can't necessarily. It's just the way it was done. It's not sometimes what I always say. It's not what you do; it's how you do it. And this has turned into a big mess. And I can say in this instance, yes, you're right. Her past, because Samantha Ware has spoken out against it. Um, I believe in second chances. I don't know how much she's changed. I don't know how much she's learned from all of this other stuff in the past. Sometimes people just are who they are. I'm not saying, but I guess what I'm getting at is, do you think, how much of this do you think is her fault? How much of the mess surrounding this do you think she played into?
What mess?
Just like, okay, so it was announced Beanie Featherstein was leaving in
No.
September.
I know. I know. Like the whole her taking over the role, but the mess is not the fact that she's taking over the role of funny girl. Like people always in the background kind of said, like ultimately she was going to get the role at some point. Like
Yeah.
because she's wanted the role for years since the start of her career. The issue is that once again, Hollywood and Broadway are ignoring the controversies of white players and how they treat people of color and the controversies and scandals um, in order because at the end of the day, you want this, so you're going to just ignore her history and you're going to ignore the scandals and you're going to ignore her bad behavior and the things that she has done, which she has not accounted for. Like she never truly apologized. She worked around that apology. It was never a direct apology. It was kind of like, oh, if I ever did anything that you found offensive, I'm like, really? So you mean to tell me you really gonna say you don't remember or you didn't do anything, even though she's had other people of the cast back her up on what she said? So I think that's where the controversy is that it's not that she's taken over the role, because at the end of the day, I think she got the voice for it. She has the acting chops for it. Beanie was casted partly because of her family. Nepotism is what got her that role. So that's not the controversy. The controversy is, once again, Hollywood is not listening to what these people have put other people through, and they're continuing to be able to build their rise and their stardom on the backs of the people that they're stepping on. And that's where the problem is.
And I agree with that. And also, so are you saying she doesn't deserve a second chance? Or are you saying if she apologized, that would make it better and then we could give her second chance?
I don't like her.
I'm not her biggest fan either. And
I think
even,
I think I think that some people, it's not saying that you shouldn't have a job, but I'm sorry, I feel some people do not deserve the stardom that they get just because you're white. And I think that is one thing that has worked for her. White privilege has worked for her. And I think that she was truly awful to people on the cast of, on the set of Glee. I truly believe she was truly awful to these people. And because she was really, really close to, oh my God, I forgot the name of the dude who was the
Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, she's really, really close to him. And because she got with Corey, that's what ultimately and you know what's so funny is she wasn't with Corey when he died. I'm sorry. But they were together when he died. But yeah, but because of that whole thing is what has continued to save her. But if you notice, every time that she gets a chance, she loses that chance. She's had so many shows that have ultimately failed. And a lot of the shows she's working with people of color. Like, it's hilarious to me on how we don't notice how they're trying so hard to change the image that she has based on the stories that have come out of how she was on the Glee set. But every single time there has been a failure to that. And so, you know what? Y'all want to give her Funny Girl? I ain't never going to go see the play. I wasn't a fan. But you want to give it to her? Go for it. But that's white privilege at its best. I'm sorry. Like, I just feel like that's white privilege is the reason why she continuously gets chances over and over again, even though it's been proven multiple times, not once, not twice, multiple times, that she's a horrible human being.
Yeah, and also and the other part of the drama besides that for history is that the casting. So after it was announced that she was taking over the role at the end of September, Beanie Feldstein suddenly quit and said that she's ending at the end of this month, so next week. And they're saying it was because all of a sudden after the Lea casting news, the producers and everyone just started icing her out. It's a bunch of he say, she say, back and forth about who was acting shitty to who at that point. So, but apparently people want to see it because ticket sales are skyrocketing for her performances, like $2,500 opening night,
This is her star role. It's her star role.
Yeah, and she's returning home back to Broadway, so we'll see. Emmy nominations are out. Did you look at them? Did you see them? Issa Rae was nominated for Insecure. I know you didn't watch the show, but I love that show, and I love her. She has some tough competition for the lead actress in a comedy role, but Squid Game made history. First international drama, K-drama, to be nominated for drama series. It also had a lot. I want to say, I think it led all Emmy nominations, and it's going up against Succession. So the drama series is probably going to come down to Squid Game and Succession. And you don't watch either, do you?
To be honest, I don't watch any of the shows that are being nominated.
For anything or just drama?
I'm looking at the list again just to see if maybe I missed something. But yeah, no, I don't watch any of the shows in comedy or drama.
Oh wow, Euphoria is my shit. That shit is batshit crazy. I like Ozark. I'm not as big of a fan as everyone else, but I can appreciate it. It's a good show. I've never seen Severance. Better Call Saul. Maybe the closest they're going to get to that statue is the two that they put up of Jesse Pinkman and Walter White in Albuquerque. We don't know. Succession is great. Squid Game is great. I haven't seen Yellow Jackets. Abbott Elementary is really, really good. I jumped on the bandwagon just because everyone was talking about it. And once I watched it,
your viewpoints and mine, but go ahead.
Once I watched it, I was like, this is a really good show. And, shout out to Quinta Bronson, who created the show, who's a writer, producer, also starred the show. I met her. Always representation matters. So I'm always giving love to Black girls, Black girl magic, whatever you want to call it. You go, girl. So she deserves that success. Only Murders in the Building, really good. I was surprised that I actually liked that show, but it is really good. And of course, I love Ted Lasso. So yeah. So you're not a big. So I know you won't be watching the Emmys, and I guess you're not a big fan. Zendaya was nominated again, so as a producer this time as well. So
I mean, like the shows that like Euphoria, you love Euphoria. I found it to be boring and really crazy. Like, it's not my type of show. I just found it to be too much. I think it sensationalized a part of teenage society that um, needs to be addressed. Because I have a lot of teenagers who watch that show, and they're like, "Oh my god, like it's so crazy," and I'm just like, it is so sad because they're gonna look at that and like we don't have any feel good like anyway. I just think Euphoria is too much. Ozark, I've never watched it, but I heard it's really good, but I've never seen an episode. Succession, boring as hell to me. I don't get it. I got through one episode and I had to force myself to do it. But I fully understand how people can be fully into that show and like all about it, but I am not one of those people. Like I could not get into that at all. Never watched Squid Games. Don't watch Stranger Things. Like Abbott Elementary, not my cup of tea either. But then again, I don't teach elementary, so I can't relate to the nonsense. Yeah, no, none of the shows appeal to me. But good luck to all of them.
Yeah. Okay. This one I have no idea why. Television movie Chippendale Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus. Like, okay.
You've never
I,
seen it.
I've
Maybe it's
never
really good.
seen it. I was just like, but really, that's what's making television movies. Now I will say, shout out to Marvel. They dominated all of the technical categories for their MCU series. None of them really were nominated. I think WandaVision was a big snub. Um, out of all those series, I probably would have loved to see. I think WandaVision deserves something, in maybe the acting or even best series, drama series. What about you?
Oh yeah, but it's Marvel, so they're not going to get nominated.
Yeah. So I definitely would have loved that. People were mad about Yellowstone not being nominated. Um,
Phenomenal show.
yeah. So
Phenomenal.
well, we need to do a Yellowstone episode, don't we?
No,
Because I've never brought it.
I don't watch it.
Oh, then how do you
I
know
haven't
it's
watched it.
phenomenal?
I haven't watched it since first season. Like
Oh,
COVID, when we were in quarantine, it dropped off my list, and I never got back into it because now it's like on its fifth season. So it's just too far ahead, and I'm not playing catch up. But when I watched the first season, it was absolutely phenomenal. Like the emotions that, like, if you want to feel some emotions as you're watching a show on like hating the main characters, but then also you can't pull your eyes away because you want to know what other shit are they gonna get into and have to get out of again. Like Yellowstone, perfect example. It's really, really good. It's just it's too far gone for me to like catch up to it. But I will say it was absolutely phenomenal when I watched it.
oh yeah. So, but yeah, Yellowstone, and I think, like I said, oh, and another snub to me was Blackish, not getting any noms in its final season. I think was a disgrace. So
Well, they did
that's
Abbott Elementary. You can only have one black show at a time.
okay. Um, and speaking, since we're on TV, we'll stay there. TV and movies. Spider-Man getting a new international re-release with more fun stuff. Are you gonna watch it? You're gonna go back
No,
to the theaters and
no,
watch the new
no,
release of Spider-Man?
no, no.
Okay.
I will not.
Monique has settled her lawsuit with Netflix and will have her own Netflix special finally. Excited?
No.
Yeah,
I don't care about Monique. Just Monique has completely like just destroyed any like feeling I had of like wanting to see anything she's in. Like the drama and the nonsense that has been coming out for her like the last couple of years. I'm just like, I mean, I'm happy on the fact of like, I'm sorry, let me stop laughing. I'm happy on the fact that that she worked it out with Lee Daniels, and then she has worked it out with Netflix. I am happy, and I think that she was legit in the fact that they lowballed her compared to other comedians who were offered specials on Netflix. So I definitely understand where she's coming from. I just think like all the other stuff that comes out of her mouth kind of just makes me roll my eyes. So I'm happy on the fact of like it's been resolved, but am I gonna be like, excited and like watch it when it premieres and everything? I don't believe so. No, I'm gonna be good. Unless somebody like sits down and makes me watch it with them. Nah, I'm good.
Um, I can't say that I disagree. The whole Netflix thing, I'm glad it was settled, but I saw it from the standpoint, and I think I took a Tammy view on that was, well, what have you done to have you proven that you have that star power now? Because we're not at the height of your career. Um, so we'll see. But I'm with you. I'm glad that she's getting a special. Like I said, everyone deserves a second chance. I'm glad she's resolved all the other issues, Oprah, Lee Daniels, all of that, um, and I'm glad she's able to do what she loves. But we're now at the point where I don't necessarily think I want to hear what she has to say because the things that she said so far, just I don't know if she. I don't know if she's
Crazy.
someone who. Yeah, I don't know if she's someone who can make me laugh anymore. You know, like back in the days when she first started, Def Comedy Jam, all of that. I don't know. Pre Precious, it was great. I was riding with her. She won the Oscar. Great. Precious was great. I was like, ooh, this is going to take off her career. And then I don't know what I don't know. So we'll see. I'm with you. Dave Chappelle was finally canceled. A venue in Minneapolis canceled one of his shows because of all the backlash. So we'll see if more will follow his
Yeah.
lead.
They won't. He'll be back.
He'll be back. Music
Mm-hmm.
news: Justin Bieber is resuming his tour. So I guess his facial—I forgot the official name of the diagnosis. I guess that's cleared up. So good news for Bieber fans and people who had tickets to his tour. He's back. Harry Styles is getting his own class at Texas State University. Yay! You're not excited? It's the state of
No,
higher education.
you're a Harry Styles fan. I'm not.
I thought you were like a big One Direction fan.
I was not. I've never liked One Direction.
Why do I keep thinking you were a 1D fan?
I've never been a One Direction fan
See, I was,
ever.
and I'm with you. There was like one or two songs that they had that I actually liked, and I think they were B sides. Like they weren't even songs that got a lot of pub, right? But I can say that since they've broken up, I'm not really a big fan of Niall and Liam and all them. I do like Zayn. Um, he's hit or miss, but I do like him when he's in his R&B bag. I think that's more his lane. But I am surprisingly his last two albums. I wasn't a big fan of his debut album, but his last two albums Harry Styles, and it shocked the shit out of me because I'm like, oh, he's just the one everyone goes crazy off. He's actually really talented, not only as an actor, but as a singer. And I will admit, I am a Harry Styles fan. Am I a fan enough to go pay money to take a class on his? No, I am not. I can just, that's what Google is for. Anything I want to find out about Harry Styles, can I just go Google it? Like, is this class being taught by someone who actually knows Harry Styles? Is he going to show up like Matthew McConaughey showed up to his class at the University of Texas? Like, is Harry Styles actually going to show up in his class? So, yeah. Now, are you excited? BTS, Benny Blanco, and Snoop Dogg song are going to drop soon. Is your excitement being subdued by the silence?
Sure, yeah.
You're not excited?
I don't even know who Benny Blanco is.
He is a producer, a big
Oh,
time
that's nice.
producer. He's written a lot of stuff.
Not a
Okay.
fan of Snoop Dogg either.
I remember the song being teased, or the collab being teased when they were here for Permission to Dance, but not a lot came out
Mm-hmm.
about it. It's with the vocal line. So we'll see. I think it's coming out in a couple weeks. You know. Also, J Hope album dropped. I know we're gonna do a whole thing on it, but what were your first thoughts? Like it?
Yeah, let's wait till the episode.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's scary. But he will be making history as the first Korean headliner at Lollapalooza. TXT is also going to be performing at Lollapalooza next weekend in Chicago. For those of you who want to watch it, it will be streamed on Hulu. The last few years, Hulu has streamed Lolla. I know Coachella is streamed on YouTube, and Hulu does Lolla. So if you want to watch the whole Lollapalooza weekend, check it out on Hulu. It is really, really great. I saw the Foo Fighters last year. They had a great lineup. This year's lineup is pretty good too. So J-Hope is headlining Sunday, the 31st, for those of you who just want to watch his set. So check out the schedule and everything on Hulu. Are you going to watch it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you don't want to see him at all? I thought he was one of your favorites.
Oh, I love J-Hope.
You just don't want to watch his performance at Lolla?
No. I don't watch Lollapalooza. I don't watch Coachella. I've never watched anything, no matter, like, I've had some of my favorite artists perform at those festivals, and I have never watched any of their performances. I'll go back on YouTube and watch some clips that they put out there to see if it's worth it to go watch the whole performance. But I've never actually sat down and watched the performances of those music festivals. It's not my thing, and just because J-Hope is performing doesn't mean it's going to become my thing.
Oh wow, I love watching them. Watched Beyonce, like I love it just because I think it's really great. Um, for those of us who can't go, it's been a great way to see what goes on. Like I've watched Coachella live the last few years. Saw some great performances. And I've done Lollapalooza the last few years too, so I love watching those performances. And I'm actually thinking about heading out to ACL this year live. So I love concerts and I love performances. So it's one, I don't know, like I said, COVID's here to stay. So it's just something that we're going to have to get used to. So I'm just going to mask up and take my ass out to Austin, I guess, for ACL. We'll see, even though I don't think they've announced it. Okay. Continuing with BTS. In the Soup, the Wooga Squad version, or Friendcation officially, is dropped this weekend on Disney Plus, but it's just on Disney Plus Asia. The other markets will probably air it after it's fully aired in Asia. That's what I'm assuming. They haven't announced international dates for the international markets yet, but it's part of the Disney Plus deal with Heidi, where it's a multi-year deal. So far, they have 5 shows, 3 of which will feature BTS or members of BTS. The first one is the In the Soup Ruga Squad. BTS will actually have their own docu-series next year, and then sometime, I think this fall, they are going to air the Permission to Dance LA concert. I thought the Permission to Dance Vegas ones were actually probably a little bit better, but I know Jen was hurt, so you'll get the full BTS experience with the Permission to Dance LA shows. So, what do you think about the Hybe Disney Plus deal?
Oh, just keep making money off of BTS. Go for it.
And they were also officially announced as the ambassadors for the World Expo Busan 2023, and they're going to have a concert in October to hopefully try to get the World Expo to Busan in Korea. I'm excited about this one. Are you a Her fan?
Mm-mm. But I was excited about the announcement though.
About her playing Belle in Beauty and the Beast TV specials.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite classic Disney movies. So I'm really, really excited to see what she brings to the role.
I am too, and I think this will probably be one that I'll watch all the way through. I can honestly say that I have not been that big of a fan of all the TV special stuff they've done like this, like the Annie one. I wasn't crazy about. Jesus Christ Superstar with John Legend. I know everyone says it was great. Although I really was never a big fan of Jesus Christ Superstar. So, but the other Disney things, Grease Live, they haven't just drawn me in. So I'm hoping that this will be the one, but I'm really excited. So I will watch it just for her, no pun intended, and we will see. Especially keep it locked, I guess, to hear the rest of the casting announcements. And I am excited about this one. Amy Winehouse biopic is finally a go. Um, I were you an Amy Winehouse fan?
Late in the game, right before she died, I became a fan of hers.
Oh, yeah. Loved her. Gone talent gone much too soon. Um, so I'm excited. I will be excited about the casting. Aaron Taylor Johnson, not Aaron Taylor, his wife Sam Taylor Johnson is directing. It's been off and on for years. So it's finally on, and I am really interested. She's just one of those. It's just a tragic figure, but I still love her to this day. Vinyls. One of the first vinyls that I bought was Back to Black, on a vinyl edition with record player. You have a record player? Oh my goodness. Okay. So
Why would I have a record player so I could break the records?
you be a record breaker at that point.
That was cute. That was cute.
Okay. So I think we covered it. Anything else you got? I got a palate cleanser. You got anything else we skipped this week? Anything you want
Doja
to add
Cat.
to? Huh?
Doja
Oh
Cat.
yeah, Doja Cat beefing with the Stranger Things kid. Like, what'd you think about that?
I, so I didn't think there was anything wrong with what she did. And I think it was wrong what he did to her.
Putting her
Thinking it
on
was
blast.
funny. Yeah, putting her on blast, and then everybody's like, "Well, she shouldn't be messaging a kid. He's a 17-year-old teenager." Like, so are y'all saying if he was 18, that it wouldn't be as like y'all would be okay, but you're not okay that he's 17, about to turn 18, and it's not like she messaged him trying to get with him. That's not how it went down at all. Like they're trying to make it worse. People are trying to make it worse than it is by saying like, oh well, she shouldn't be messaging a kid, he's under 18. And I'm just like, it wasn't like she was messaging him like, hey, how you doing, like what's up. She was just like, hey, I can't find your co-stars like um social media, can you help a girl out? And he's like, here it is, send her the message of the social media, and that was the end of the conversation. So I think it's like real like fucked up that everybody's like making it such a huge thing on like, oh, she was in the wrong and everything like that. I didn't see her doing anything wrong. But I do think it was wrong of him to post her DMs. I just think it was wrong of him. And I agree with her on like, he shouldn't have done it. Like, it just goes without saying that, hey, we both have like our stardom, like everything like that. You've been in this business for a couple years, no matter if you're a teenager or not, you know how this business goes. Like, there's just certain things you don't do. And that's really childish of him to like post her stuff to the point where now it's deleted because you realize what you did is wrong, because people started dragging her for it, because you thought it was like be real cool, and it wasn't like that. That's just my opinion on it.
I agree. I haven't paid too much attention to it, but I agree. When it came out that he, posted her DMs, I was like, that's just shitty.
Yeah.
Especially if especially since it wasn't anything to put her on blast for. Like you said, it would be different if she were trying to hook up with a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old or whatever. You know, Millie Bobby Brown and Drake, they've been friends for years, even when she was younger. She's now 18,
Mm-hmm.
but when she was younger.
They still
So
talk. They text each other and everything like that. Like,
and I agree. To me, I think it's shitty to post someone's DMs. They're private for a reason. Unless there's something that they need to be called out for. But for that, just because you thought it was cute or it's funny, or hey, look at me, how cool I am, Doja Cat's DMing me, then that's bullshit. So I agree. I can agree with that. You know, but and like you say, the rules to show business, they're a little bit different. But even just in real life, for non-stars, I think it's shitty to post people's DMs, um, especially when it's something just that simple, that benign, and but we'll see. Um, And he's apologized for it,
Well, of course you have to, because people started to drag you. At first, everybody was like, "Oh, he's just a kid." And I'm like, "He's not a kid. He's a teenage boy. He's about to be a grown ass adult." And at what point do we hold them accountable for it? So now, of course, you have to apologize because you realize you made a douche move. Like, that was an asshole move, and how they treated her. And you're like, "Oh shit! Like, I just thought it would be cool to like brag about it." Yeah, I bet you
Yeah.
learned your lesson.
Okay, so this week's palate cleanser. Um, there has been a league, and they've disowned their owner. They've actually changed their name. Um, did you hear about Quidditch dumping J.K. Rowling?
Is this the palate cleanser?
Yeah.
I thought it was completely ridiculous, but go ahead.
You thought it was ridiculous that they
Yeah.
dumped her? I didn't even
I
know.
I
Go
I
ahead.
I feel reading the article, like they're putting it out there like they dumped her, but also part of the thing is they can never truly go public because they don't own the name. It's not affiliated with, what is it, Warner Brothers, I think it is, who owns all the rights to Harry Potter. So it's kind of like, oh, you can now actually, bring this big, but how big is it going to be? Quidditch is what made y'all popular. So I don't know. Like, I don't see the significance of it.
I didn't
I
even know.
don't. I think it's just a PR stunt. Like, I look at it as in, it's a PR stunt. Like, okay, what are you gonna do with your new name? Like, your new name is nothing because the game is Quidditch. Like, that's what the game is. So what was the point?
Here's how dumb I am. I didn't even know you could play Quidditch in real life.
Oh, I've known for years that they had that they were playing it. It started out in England and it spread from there.
I was like, for real? How do you fly?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't even know Quidditch was a real life game. But it was just like, and then I was like, how can you dump her? And it's a shame when you're kind of defending J.K. Rowling, but again, she's entitled to her opinions, no matter how asinine they are. But I'm like, how can you dump her from the game that she invented, that you probably, like you said, didn't even have the rights to have the
Yeah.
name anyway? So it's just like, okay.
I just thought it was
But
I thought it was stupid. I'm sorry. Like, it's stupid. Like, what are you gonna do with this new name? You think anybody's gonna recognize what this is
quad ball,
about? Huh? Yeah, like,
quad ball,
you think anybody's gonna recognize that? Like, they would recognize Quidditch because Harry Potter is a global phenomenon. Like, so when you say Quidditch, even if you didn't know that they played, you knew where the game came from.
you know,
Quad
that's
ball,
just
when you hear quad ball, you're gonna know what quad ball is. No.
that's just like Harry Potter saying, I disavow J.K. Rowling. It's like, what?
Like, you are
Huh?
J.K. Rowling.
Like, huh?
Like, I
Oh,
get the concept. I get that she has definitely said stuff that we don't agree with. And
she
I'm
said
all for. Go ahead.
she said stuff to not only tarnish her legacy, but to tarnish the legacy of Harry Potter, which is intertwined with her legacy so much.
But
Even though she
what
writes,
did she say that tarnished the legacy of Harry Potter?
well, and that's what I'm going to say, because they are intertwined. When you think Harry Potter, you think J.K. Rowling, or when you think J.K. Rowling, you think Harry Potter. So even though she's written and produced other stuff, that is what she's most known for. So people
So,
have a hard time of separating the opinions of the woman, which she's entitled to. Like I said, no matter whether you agree with them or disagree with them, or how asinine I may personally think they are, she's entitled to her thoughts and her beliefs and her opinions. But they have a hard time separating the two. So it has tarnished, like every time, even at the Harry Potter reunion, they were asking the entire class, "Oh, do you agree with J.K. Rowling? Does this
because
mean
that
you're
had
never
just
gonna?"
it,
So all of
it
that.
had
That's
just
what I mean.
it had just come out. But I think I'm of the opinion that Harry Potter is bigger than J.K. Rowling. Yes, whenever you hear J.K. Rowling's name, the only thing that comes up is Harry Potter. But when I hear Harry Potter, I feel like Harry Potter has gotten to the level where I don't automatically think J.K. Rowling. For a minute, I forgot her name. Like, you want to talk about Harry Potter? I'm all for it. But never once has my conversation or my dedication to the Harry Potter world or you know, connected to J.K. Rowling. Yes, she's the creator of that whole world, but I think Harry Potter has become bigger. So when they were asking them, like, what do you think of it? I think it's because it was in the news. Like, it was happening at that point. Like, it was in the public. It was in the news at that point. I think give it a year, give it 2 years. I don't think that the association is still going to be so huge. Harry Potter is bigger than the person who created that world. Like, it's bigger than J.K. Rowling. She can still make money from it, and yes, she's still the creator. But I don't think it's necessarily like she automatically comes into the conversation when you talk about Harry Potter. But Harry Potter will always come into the conversation when you talk about J.K. Rowling.
But she does, because even the Fantastic Beasts, the movies haven't been that great. But before they can recreate or do anything licensing wise
They
with
have
Harry
to
Potter,
talk to her.
they have to go through her.
But that doesn't go towards conversation. Like, what I mean is when people are talking about Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is still loved decades later, when they're talking about Harry Potter, I don't think J.K. Rowling's name comes, like, yeah, when you're talking professionally about it, I'm sure professionally they try to bring it up. But when everyday people are talking about Harry Potter, it's not Harry Potter including J.K. Rowling. I don't necessarily see that. I don't experience that. But I think if you ever were to have a conversation about J.K. Rowling, you can't have a conversation about J.K. Rowling without talking about Harry Potter. I think you can fully have a conversation about Harry Potter without ever having a conversation about J.K. Rowling. You can. I've had multiple conversations about Harry Potter and never once did her name come up in any type of conversation. I've read articles, and the only thing that's ever mentioned about her is the fact of saying that she's the one that created Harry Potter. But other than that, the focus has always been Harry Potter. Harry Potter is bigger than her. I just think what she's come out with recently is the reason why they're talking about her. But I just think, like, you can disassociate Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling, but you can't disassociate J.K. Rowling. No, you can disassociate. You just can't separate when you talk about J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter, because that's her money maker. But it's different when you talk about Harry Potter. You can disassociate J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter when you talk about that world. Even though she created it, but it's bigger than her. I don't think it. I just don't see I never thought of it tarnishing Harry Potter because of what she said. I just didn't see the tarnishing of the Harry Potter. I just think it's too big for her stupid statements to tarnish the legacy of what Harry Potter means to global society.
We can agree to disagree. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think it has tarnished some of the legacy of Harry Potter. Especially like you say, when you mention J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter is always mentioned as with her being the creator, and if they want to expand the universe, which there have been talks of doing outside of the Fantastic Beasts or anything like that, then you have to go through her to do it, not Warner Brothers, but through J.K. Rowling. So, because she still owns the rights to that. She didn't sell them off. Very smartly, very smart of her to do so. Like I said, she's a hell of a businesswoman, and you got to respect her hustle, because she was living out of her car when she came up with the idea of Harry Potter. So, like I say, that was a horrible palate cleanser. It turned into a whole nother conversation. I'll have to do better with my palate cleanser, or you'll have to come up with a palate cleanser. How about that? I love when you ignore me. I love when I say things you say.
I would have
said, disagree with.
I'll be honest. I would have said, like, talking about the Wooga squad for the palate cleanser, because I thought the clips of them are absolutely like phenomenal on seeing like their closeness and their friendship. Like that's a palate cleanser because of
Did
how
you watch?
close.
Oh,
Well, no, I haven't gone to like, find where the episode is since it's not in the US yet. Um, but yeah, that would have been a palate cleanser if we had talked about like V and his friend crew, because it's just so interesting on how much younger he is compared to them, and yet like
oh,
they
they talked.
fully accepted him into yeah, I know they talked about it, but and they fully like accepted him, like he's part of the crew, like, and he's so dedicated to them just like they're dedicated to him. Like it's interesting because you don't see that with the other members. You don't see them have as close of a friendship crew. They have friends, but they don't hang out with their friends the way that B hangs out with his, because his friends are way more famous than any of their friends are. B has the most famous friends in BTS.
Not saying whether I have or have not watched bootleg versions of it since it's not here in the US, but they do specifically, from what my understanding, address that in the episode. And
yeah, I read the article of it where they talk about that.
And he was like, it would be weird if we would have hung out when I was in elementary and y'all were in high school. And they're like, yeah, it would have been. Okay, moving on. And they just start laughing about it. But yeah, so but I would say that, if you're interested, you should go watch it. It is really good. It's different from the other In the Soups, BTS and 17, but it's same concept, just hanging out, friends, seeing who they are, and they are ridiculous. It is funny watching them together. Seeing Sojun off of Itaewon Class, and Peak Boy is interesting. So I would recommend it. Whether you wait until it comes out on Disney internationally, or if you want to watch it in the meantime. Okay, well that does it for this extra buttery episode, extra wine, extra butter, extra everything episode of the ReWine. Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can pick up podcasts. I believe we are there. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at the new and improved Popcorn Wine Down. That's it. That's the plug. You're not gonna pop me up today?
Oh, pop. Sorry.
Damn, that he has got you. Okay. Thank you as always. Until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.